So in this video, I'm going to go over a big mistake I made. So during childhood, I used to go to church and see my parents do a lot of churchy stuff. So as an adult, having to process all the shit that they put me through, I thought maybe one day my dad would wake up. He saw everything. He was in the car for this shit. He was there during the overdose. My nephew saw the Epicac punishment. My nephew was crying that he was afraid to come visit her. All three of his sons said that there was a problem with her. She died of liver failure. He caught her taking my Vicodin out of the closet. He knew about the pills. He knew about my condition. He saw me sick a lot. He knew I bumped into stuff, and yet she tried to make it a self-harming thing. He knew that when I jumped in a pool and caught my foot on a fence, she tried to make it into a self-harming thing. He knows all that. So I figured one day he would come to Jesus and God and do the right thing. But that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. No matter how much proof, no matter if the ghost of my mother came down and told him himself that you need to stop Zach's suffering. I'm sorry for what I did, and I'm counting on you, or I have to stay in hell. Something like that. Let's say my mother's spirit is in hell, but she comes to my father telling him that she has to stay there until I'm better, and that wouldn't be enough proof. Let's say there's camera footage of this clearly happening. It won't be enough proof. Let's say a doctor finally starts to work with me. Won't be enough proof. On top of that, they will call the doctor, make up stories, and try to prevent that doctor from helping me. They literally prevent me from getting better as much as they can. I'm not even kidding. My father and his new wife will prevent as much help as I can get. If any doctor starts working with me and they have their name, she will try to stop it. She will try to stop any care or any truth from coming out. So I should have known better. I should have known that no matter how much proof is out there, no matter how much is there, they're going to go straight into denial because their happiness becomes before human life. And that's something I didn't realize. That is their formula. See, for me, human life comes first. That's all I care about. Making the world a better place, even if I have to suffer a little. But I can't do that with this shit going on. So I can't just ignore it like I tried to do. From age 19 to 23, I decided just to move on and pretend like it wasn't a problem. Everything my mother did to me, fuck it. And as far as the seizures and the shakes, and I'll just take Ativan alcohol or whatever helps. But that's not the right thing to do. You got to face this head on. You got to be honest with yourself and others. And everybody has a right to know the truth. Everybody. My biological family, my family, all my family. Every last person in my family deserves to know what was really going on. They all came to my adoption party. Every single person in that adoption party deserves to know I was on drugs that day because they think that I was just tired and I would just look like I was depressed or something. For a birthday party type thing? No. But I was passed out in the car on the way to this courtroom thingy, and then I was passed out on the car to there, and then I just was looking for a spot on the ground to fall asleep. So all of my family deserves to hear this after I'm gone. Every loved one. I shouldn't say family, because some of my family, like my mother, my stepmother, and my father, have done nothing but try to stop me from getting help. They have no need to get me help. Come on. My father literally misappropriated Social Security straight into his pocket. Meanwhile, I'm in a program in Lawrence called Highfields that requires my Social Security to be turned over so I can take lessons on how to use it, how to reapply. They would help me reapply, and on top of that, they find me my first apartment and roommates. But my father had no concern about my safety or well-being, so he just pocketed it and used it to pay for his house in Chelmsford. That's all. Big giant house in Chelmsford. That's where the money went. And then he just lets me come by once in a while on weekends, and that's everything, right? That's a good reason for doing that. No, it actually was illegal. Yeah, when he got caught, I had to show him a lot of love to get him out of trouble. They wanted me to sign a paper, and I would have got all that money back. But I don't do stuff like that. I'm supportive. So I refused to sign, and I supported my father. Big mistake. Because all I asked him to do was be a good person and be a good father when it came to Social Security. And he literally canceled the lawyer when it was time to go in. I'm not even kidding. He hires a lawyer. I do everything to get my Social Security. And then the day of court, the lawyer cancels out because of my father. Oh, yeah, that's great. On top of that, when it came time to my inheritance, right? You know what my father did? He lied. He manipulated. If he wanted to keep it, I would have had a discussion with him about that. But instead, he lied and manipulated. And then he calls me a liar and a manipulator. I'm not even kidding. He literally lies to my face, manipulates to my face, and then turns it around and calls me a liar and a manipulator. So fucked up. This is so fucked up shit. And now he thinks he can just, like, let this all fall on somebody else. Like, literally, well, I'm old, so I can just let this kid go the rest of his life dying for my choices. That's fine. No, it's not fine to cripple somebody else's child and then run away from your responsibility and let your wife continue doing crazy shit. Not only that, this has affected my whole life. I wanted to be a child care worker. For one, the medication made me drool so much that I had to find another job. Not, I mean, I was just drooling every morning. I mean, they liked me there. I stayed for like 4 years. But by the end, they didn't want me on medication anymore. They were like, if this kid's not going to go off the medication, then we don't want him. That's simple. Whatever medication you are on in at nighttime and in the mornings, go off of that and then come back. So I literally, that was one of the first red flags that I ended up seeing. On top of that, I can never ever work as a child care worker because my mother just made up story after story after story after story after story after story after story. So if something did happen where maybe a teacher wanted to get back at me, or maybe a parent wasn't sure what was going on, or maybe a kid was in trouble and lied, like it's very common. I've had to deal with these things before with children. They like that. This is very common. I mean, when a child gets in trouble, they say no, stuff like that. But you can obviously tell. But with me, I go straight to jail. Nobody cares. I don't, no investigation. On top of that, I'm crippled to the point where I can't drive, I can't talk, I can't move my body properly, so I can't even defend myself. So literally, I just got a big target on my back that my father painted. A big giant target. My mother and father just painted a big giant motherfucking target on my back, and they said, have fun. Not only that, my mother was a very good archer at hitting that target. My mother loved hitting me, literally as a target. I mean, I don't care about that. I'm not talking about smacking me. I'm talking about the pills. My mother loved trying to make me out to be some kid that needs pills and needs drugs, and I should drug him more and drug him more and drug him more. And now, when I'm polite, I bring this up to them over and over very nicely. I brought it up when I was living with them many, many, many times. I brought it up, and by the way, when I say living with them, I only stayed with them for a summer. A summer. They already got drunk and lost it. Why? Because I had diarrhea from jerky. And I went out with my brother. That's it. They try to make it look like I was high, even though the police were called and they gave me a clean slate. The police said I did not look high. I did the test. I even did the breathalyzer, even though my brother said no. But I was happy to do the breathalyzer. You know why? Because I had no alcohol in my system. I didn't have enough alcohol to show anything. So I took the breathalyzer, passed. I took all the tests and passed. But my mother and father downstairs have alcohol in front of them. They can't stand up. They're slurring. They're violent speech. And they're getting angry uncontrollably. They definitely had too much to drink. And the cops even said it. The police even said it looks like they're the ones that were drinking. I said, that's exactly what happens. They drink too much. They get a buzz going, and then they project that onto somebody else. But anyways, at least the police made me feel really comfortable. I had my brother there. The police were like, yeah, we know. We can see. We can see that you guys are very clearly sober. You are the only one I was the only one, I think, that was willing to take the breathalyzer. And that's because I knew I wasn't buzzed. I knew I had no buzz whatsoever. This is just how they are. And even if I did, what business is it of theirs if I want to take a hit of pot before I go to bed? You guys are drunk, shit-faced, and crippled me. You guys are doing so much illegal shit, it's not even funny. And then you're going to try to act like it's all hunky-dory legal stuff. Oh yeah, it's really legal, I'm sure, to do all the stuff I'm mentioning. I'm sure that they are going to go to heaven. I'm sure that they are good people. No, don't forget, everybody thinks that they're a good person. But the real way to tell is to check within yourself and see the results of your actions. Now, the results of my mother and father's actions at age 5 did not look good. By the way, if you look at pictures of me, it was very clear I was an abused victim. From age 5 all the way on, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It was very clear, and everybody was asking me what was going on, but I didn't know. All I knew is that I was given a bottle of Ipecac, I lost my body and never got it back. That's all I knew. I didn't have a medical degree. I wasn't a nurse. But the people around me definitely did know something was up, and that's why I was moved to Texas, New Mexico, Maine, Mass. I don't think my father did it for that reason, because he didn't want to go at all. But my mother very clearly knew what she did and very clearly wanted to cover it up. And still to this day, my father would much rather cover it up, make it go away, have me suffer and get killed, than any other choice that he could make. I'm not even kidding. Any choice he makes is going to be the evil choice that gets me hurt. They have no concern about talking to me about their actions. So every time they make a choice, like calling my doctor, the doctor drops out, now I have no neurologist. It took me 10 years to find that doctor. 10 years to find a neurologist that understood what was going on. And then I give the doctor's name to my father and his third wife, and then all of a sudden he disappears. Right after that, right after my family calls him. Isn't that a weird coincidence that he's working great with me, and then all of a sudden, after I give the number to my family, he says that he's on vacation and he disappeared. You know, when I checked, he's not on vacation. He was still making trips up. No, no, somebody called him and gave him a story that scared him off, like they always do. They told him I was psycho and making up stories, I bet. I bet she even called my primary care, too. I bet this is exactly how they are. They start getting into trouble, they start doing shit like that, and then they want to go and call the doctors. That's it. They want to play tit for tat. I don't play that game. I don't play tit for tat. That's an evil game that only evil, vindictive people play. I don't play tit for tat. No, I do not. I just sit there and take it. And then when I go off the edge, well, I go off the edge. I mean, you only can cripple somebody so many times. You can only deny them health care so many times. I mean, all I'm asking for is what everybody else in the United States gets. I am asking for my civil rights, my human rights, and that the Disability Act not be violated. I'm asking for fraud not to be committed, and I'm asking for my Social Security because I'm 10 times more injured than any other person receiving Social Security. I'm asking for my files to be fixed and be truthful. I'm asking for my medical records to be honest and truthful. But I can't do that because my father wants me even more crippled. He's already taken away my ability to drive. He's already taken away my ability to walk. They've already taken away my ability to use my arms properly. Even as a child, my legs would bump. Sometimes doctors were saying coordination issue and having all different names for it. They were told at age 7 about this. This is nothing new. But as things got worse, as they drugged me more, as my mother beat me more with rulers, as they covered up their mistakes more, now I can't drive, I can't walk, I can't move my body properly, and there are times I can't talk. How the fuck am I going to do this Herculean task with the tools I have at hand? And they've fucked up my Social Security too. So I can't get money Every time I work, I get injured more because I'm not supposed to be working until I get medical care. But yet they just want to fuck things up a little more, right? Just fuck things up a little more. Let's kill our son a little more before the story gets out. We don't want this getting out. We don't want this getting out. So let's call and make up some more stories. At least that's the impression I'm getting from these doctors, that somebody pretending to be my mother. Also, it's really a coincidence that my doctor's working with me great, a great, great, great doctor, neurologist. My aunt, or I should say my father's third wife, my stepmother, asked me for the doctor's number and name. Now, I'm an honest individual who likes to love one another. I believe in love and cooperation and working together. And I'm believing that my father is a good man and that this woman is a good man because they go to church and they wouldn't try to get me hurt. They wouldn't deny me medical care, right? So I give her the phone number, I give her the name. Like a couple months later, my appointment's canceled and they say, Dr. Hodge, my doctor, is no longer seeing me. My neurologist, and then when I talked to them some more, they said they got some phone calls. What phone calls? Oh, we're not allowed to. What do you mean you're not allowed to tell me? This is so crazy shit. Who the fuck is calling my doctors telling them that's fucking some nonsense? Who the fuck is doing this shit? This is a problem. Now, it's not a lot. It's not like they're calling and calling and calling and calling and calling. No. All I know is I gave them the number and then something very sketchy happened. Also, if my aunt, or I'm sorry, if my stepmother wants the phone number and the name of my neurologist, well, she's probably going to call them, right? So I was hoping that she would be supportive and loving. Instead, they try to get me killed some more. I'm not even kidding. So now I have to go track down all the old records and we got to report her for what she's doing. I shouldn't have to go through this. This is so illegal. Yet I can't drive to an attorney. I can't move my body, and I'm about to be paralyzed for life next to my next seizure or head injury. Not only that, I just lost my job because of these injuries. Well, I didn't lose it. I still have my job, but I can't go back to work in this condition, and I love working. I love running my own business. Well, running somebody else's business by myself. I love doing this stuff. I love helping elderly people. I love helping children. Children are out of the question thanks to my mother and father once again. One of my dreams. Gone. They killed it. Okay, I also wanted to become a chemist. Oh, nope, can't. No way. That requires college. That requires me going back to school. We're 10, 20 years away from that, and that's only if I survive. And it doesn't look like anybody wants to help. It looks like my mother and father and all those people around my father want to cripple me more. Meanwhile, the doctors and everybody are being fed bullshit fantasies and feeding into it. I'm not kidding. My primary care, the neurologist, a lot of them are feeding into these fantasies. They're having me crawl across traffic on my hands and knees. I'm not even fucking kidding. I had to get a CT scan, and the doctors had me crawling on 108 across a crosswalk, not able to walk, while knowing I can't walk. They didn't even issue me a cane. Nope. They didn't issue me anything. Nothing. They literally played with me to see how bad I really was. And this is because, well, most likely because, somebody called them and told them I'm just making all this shit up and it's all some big story. Why would they say such a thing? Why would they get me hurt and get me killed when I'm at the end of my rope? Because they don't want to take responsibility for their actions. Fuck no. They did something horrible, and it's easier to kill off their son. Fuck. How evil can people be? This is so fucked up. You got a man like me who literally just wants to help others, and then you got literally my father and the people around him, like his wives, hurting people, coming up with these crazy fucking ideas. And don't think it's just me saying this. Everybody has, like with my mother, oh boy, my brother Tim, my brother Jeff, me, with Zach, you got teachers, you got literally everybody around her that got a peek at her craziness has had to tell her to stop. My sister has seen, well, literally her say that she poisoned me with extra medications. She's seen her get up and try to stomp on me after giving weird orders. They've seen her act crazy. It's not just me. I'm just the victim. I'm where it's all directed. All of their aggression is directed towards me. Oh, and boy, is there a double standard. Oh, boy. They can steal, lie, break me, poison me, but if I even said a bad word, oh no. Yeah, that's such fucked up minds, I gotta say. And I agree with my family. My father needs to be in a home, and they should have never married. Because honestly, my father's wives are so two-faced. They act nice to me to get information, and then behind my back, they try to get me killed. It's so fucked up. And I can't even get an attorney because these people crippled me so bad. What the hell am I supposed to do about this shit?